Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Fox. I want to talk with you briefly about my invention and my product, the COVEX Modified KN95 Mask System, which looks like this. This mask system has undergone a little bit of an evolution since when I first began. I'll tell you briefly about that. Back when the pandemic hit, there was a person in my household, still is, who is immune compromised. And being the scientist of the family, it was my job to procure all the necessary supplies, including PPE, to get us through this pandemic. So I went to Amazon, like any sane person, to buy a mask that would be suitable for both of us, and unfortunately, none was available. Every single mask had a flaw of some sort, a fatal flaw. You've seen lots of masks running around that just aren't very good. Like you see a lot of these, called a surgical mask. These are not intended to protect the wearer. They're more or less a cough and sneeze shield meant to keep the surgeon's junk out of the patient he's doing surgery on. It fits very poorly, which is its biggest downfall. It's got a barely adequate little nose wire here. Most people don't even know it's there. It doesn't seal well. The net efficiency of this thing is in the low 60% range. It's not very good. It's about as good as a cloth mask, a homemade cloth mask. You see a lot of those around. You also see these stretchy black masks that look kind of sporty, and they have, you know, the breathing valves on the side and the nose clip on the top, and you know, they either loop around the ears or around the head, and they have replaceable filters inside, and that sounds really good, and it looks really you know, high performance and all that. Our national laboratories have tested these things, and they may filter kind of in the range of 5 to 10% efficiency. They don't do much at all, really. And the breathing valves on them, those render the mask completely ineffective for protecting anyone else from the wearer. Terrible masks. So anyway, we were kind of left to our own. I had to come up with my own solution. I started making masks myself. I was able to procure some melt-blown polypropylene material, which was basically oil sorbent mat used in mechanical work. It actually made a pretty good mask. This is the last generation of that mask I made, and but the best part about this mask was the nose wire system. That is fairly substantial, you know, compared to this little flimsy thing. You can't even see it. It's just a little wire in there. It's not even as stiff as a twist tie. Versus a double 17 gauge galvanized steel wire. It's about the weight of a heavy paper clip, and you know, a large paper clip, and most of all, a foam rubber cushion that takes up slack when you move around, when you look up or down or left or right, when you open and close your mouth and talk and whatever. The mask shifts around, and it has to move with you, because if it doesn't, you end up with a gap. And when you end up with a gap, the air circles around the back side of the mask unfiltered and infects you with COVID-19. So anyway, this was a very good solution, and now I have a better solution. The better solution came about because China got its COVID pandemic under control, and it started selling these on the U.S. market. Now, this is a Chinese KN95 mask, which is the poor cousin to the American N95 mask. You can't get an N95 mask these masks are considered sort of the gold standard. This is a construction variety of mask without a valve. That would be the medical variety. These are these are the gold standard. They filter 95% of all particulates at the 0.3 micron size. But you can't get these because there aren't enough to go around, and they're being rationed for medical workers only. But now that China is exporting these things to us, we can get these. These filter as well. These filter 95% of particulate matter at the 0.3 micron level, but they don't fit very well. They're very flimsy. They're very thin. They have a very thin and not very substantial nose wire, which is the green thing that you see there. It's sort of embedded into the mask, and it's not as substantial, say, as the nose wire on an American N95. So the bottom line is it leaks. So what I tried to do is figure out how to use this as a filter medium instead of my melt-blown polypropylene oil sorbent mat, which is used for mechanical work, and to use this and to make this filter material fit as well as this does, and even better as well as this does, because this fits really well and seals really well. And so what I came up with was this. This is basically a hybrid between the two. It uses removable and replaceable elements that you can transplant from mask to mask. This becomes a disposable mask with transferable, transplantable components, reusable components. So you can reuse the nose wire, you can reuse the headbands, which I've replaced the ear loops with, and it even has a convenience feature. It's got a drop loop design that lets you hang the mask around your neck like a pair of reading glasses. So it's very functional mask for everyday usage. So, how well does this mask perform? Quite well. One of the benefits of this design, the way I've done it, is it allows me to double up a KN95 mask. Each mask gives you 95% or better filtration efficiency, and in fact the make that we use for our COVEX line is made by Powacom, which is a major Chinese manufacturer similar to 3M. It is their 3M, if you will. And so it's a quality mask. It filters, it's been tested to filter at an efficiency level of about 99.1%, meaning you have 0.9% inefficiency or blow-by. That is the figure you have to pay attention to, how much gets past the mask. So when you have essentially 1% blow-by of particles that got through the maze of fibers, and you send it through another maze of fibers, it's going to get 99% of that 1% that's left. And by the time you're finished, with rounding up a little bit, you have essentially a 100% efficient mask. This mask, which is a doubled up, glued together KN95 with the transplantable fit features, this mask exceeds HEPA standards by about 3 times. And even with just a single mask, which you can use for this, the filtration standards are pretty good. It's going to be 99.1% efficiency. So that's hard to beat. When you're talking about this mask, though, unmodified with the ear loops, it's sagged down. How much have you seen this? You know, um, these masks, in order to meet certification standards, have to filter 95% efficiency or better, but they can leak as much as 8%, which is a lot. Especially when you're considering a real-world uh, inefficiency rate of filtration of 1%. When you add to that 8% leakage, you've destroyed half the effectiveness of the mask. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this compares to other varieties of mask, like this, which is a P100 industrial type mask. This is something you wear in a pretty rough environment. It's pretty bulletproof, and when you put it on, you can't really talk through it.
This is what I sound like talking through this thing, and it's kind of muffly, so it's not it's not a very practical thing to wear in the office. By the way, I'm shouting.
Huh. This is a much more civilized mask. So, anyway, I'm going to show you how different designs of masks compare in performance, and then I'm going to show you how to put these things together. And so let's get started. So let's take a look briefly at how various designs of masks compare in the amount of protection they afford to the user or the wearer. For this comparison, I am using a measure called the particulate protection factor. Now, this may sound somewhat familiar. You may know of SPF values for sunscreens. This is very similar. The SPF, or sun protection factor, is a measure of the relative effectiveness of a sunscreen. A sunscreen with an SPF of 30 would allow you to stay out in the sun 30 times longer than you could without the sunscreen and get the same sun exposure. So an SPF of 2, they don't make a sunscreen like that, but an SPF 2 would allow you to spend twice as much time out in the sun. So anyway, borrowing from that, looking at the particulate protection factor of various masks, I've created this comparison based on actual test data. And so you see here a large variety of designs. The flagship design of COVEX is the modification of a compound or doubled KN95 mask made by Powacom. The typical filtration efficiency of a KN95 mask from Powacom is 99.1% based on a sampling of 60 masks tested by our national laboratories. So anyway, this is the brand of masks that COVEX deals with exclusively. So using that variety of masks doubled up and modified with the COVEX design, you see you have a particulate protection factor of 10,000. Now, what does that mean with regard to virus exposure? Well, if there is a critical exposure time of 15 minutes in the presence of a person with COVID-19 at a distance of 6 feet, that time can be extended out 10,000 times, or in other words, 2,500 hours actually of exposure time at 6 feet distance from someone with COVID-19 before you reach that critical threshold. As you can see, that's a very high standard. It is actually 3 times greater than the HEPA standard. I know this bar doesn't look 3 times higher than this bar, but it is because this is a log scale. This is the only way to draw this plot in a way that actually shows you these lower bars. Otherwise, they just wouldn't show up at all. So So the double KN95 modified mask, COVEX modified mask, is 3 times more efficient than HEPA standards. And at a minimum, if you have a KN95 mask that just barely meets certification standards and is 95% efficient, when you double that up, you don't really come, incredibly far from kind of the HEPA neighborhood, but it does fall short. A HEPA filter will do better than a minimal doubled up KN95. But these are far superior to a single mask for obvious reasons. With a single COVEX modified KN95 mask, you have a particulate protection factor of 100. Now, again, that's based on the 99% efficiency of the average mask made by Powacom. This is basically equivalent to an N95 mask. And I'm trying to compare apples to apples. These are, quote, quality masks, well-made masks. So this KN95 mask might be a Powacom mask. This American-made N95 mask might be a 3M mask. And then we show here the minimum KN95 standards and N95 standards. So these masks have a protection factor of 20. And so you can see it drops off quite a bit from this double KN95 mask, which is the top. Here's the thing, though, about KN95 masks. If you do not modify them with the COVEX system, they leak. They leak around the edges, and any air that leaks around the edges is unfiltered. So if you have an unmodified KN95 mask, just typical out of the package with ear loops, it's allowed to leak as much as 8% and still meet KN95 certification standards. So with a quality mask, you see you're getting down to a particulate protection factor of 10. With a kind of minimally effective mask, you're getting down towards 9. And then we're getting into other masks. The best known cloth masks, the ones that have just outperformed everything else that people are bragging about, they don't perform particularly well. They have a particulate protection factor of about 5. You see a lot of surgical masks being worn. They are not bad, but they're not particularly good either. They probably, with everything considered, their filtration efficiency plus their very bad fit, they've got a net efficiency of about 63%, which gives them a particulate protection factor of just under 3. So you could go 45 minutes, actually more like 40 minutes, in the presence of someone with COVID-19 at a distance of 15 feet before you're considered to have contact with them. A good multi-layer mask that's well fitted is going to be about 50%, or a particulate protection factor of 2. You see here various fabrics and such, but draw a note especially to this. This is a fake KN95 mask that you can buy on Amazon today, and this is tested by the National Personal Protective Technology Laboratory to have about a 9% filtration efficiency. Now that gives it a ppf of about 1.1, which hardly offers you any protection at all. And the NPPTL also tested some stretchy black masks with valves and replaceable filters that you see oftentimes on Amazon. And those had a filtration efficiency in the neighborhood of 5%. So they offer a ppf of 1.05, hardly anything at all. So you can see it makes a very big difference what you put on your face. First of all, that it filters efficiently, but second of all, that it doesn't leak. And that is where our design of COVEX modified double KN95s, a compound mask, will give you the best protection on the market. These are the items that come in the COVEX CX100 mask kit. First and primarily, it contains a compound KN95 mask, literally 2 KN95 masks glued together from a reputable manufacturer with FDA clearance, Palicom. Second, and equally important, more important, is the primary nose strip. The nose strip contains a 17 gauge double steel galvanized wire, and it is used to maintain the fit around your nose. It also comes with a special nose piece meant for goggles when this nose piece with the wire gets in the way. This nose piece allows the goggles to sit directly on top of the mask to seal it tightly against the face. Thirdly, it comes with a drop loop headband. This headband unbuckles to allow the mask to dangle around the neck like a pair of reading glasses. And when needed, it snaps behind the neck to provide the lower elastic neckband. It contains a plain elastic strap to be used either in conjunction with the goggle nose strip, or if a second band is needed or desired. It comes with hardware for attaching the nose strips and the headbands. This is a butterfly clip. It's part of a tie-tack system. This is a tie-tack that is joined like so. You squeeze the clip, you insert it over the post. Also included in the kit are extra long tacks that are used for attaching the nose piece to a double mask. You have a total of four of the butterfly clips, 4 of the regular length tie tacks, and 2 of the extra long tie tacks, which are a brighter silver. And finally, you have a Mylar template for marking the mask for the position of the nose piece. It inserts over the mask, and you can mark the mask through a hole. Bend the nose strap roughly to shape.
This is a good starting point.
Try the nose wire on. You can wear it directly like a mask. This is the back side that goes towards the edge of the mask. Adjust the nose wire to fit your face. You may have to twist the ends. You may have to bend it here. You should have space between the nose wire and your nose. Don't know if you can see it. The foam rubber should meet your skin all the way around. The tips of the nose strap should fit flat against your cheeks, not only this way but also this way. And that seems pretty good. So let's put it on the mask. Next, install the nose strap onto the mask. A template is provided for your convenience in doing so. The measurement of the hole of the tie tack will be 2.58 inches from the bridge of the nose to where the tie tack penetrates the mask. There's a hole in the template at that position. Position the template over the mask with the edge of the template flush with the back of the bridge of the nose and perpendicular to it. With the pin, mark the position of the hole. And just draw a circle, it's fine. Next, take a tack and push it through the middle of the hole and to the other side of the mask. Be sure before you do it that the mask is lined up properly. This creates a hole all the way through. That you can mark. So on the inside, where you see the little hole, place a mark. Place a mark there. And my apologies, in making this video I've penetrated this mask a few times, so please ignore that. Next, locate the extra long tie tacks, which are silver, versus the darker tie tacks that are a little bit shorter. These are the two sizes. So take the silver extra long tie tacks and insert them through the hole. And then take a piece of Scotch tape and secure or seal the back side of the tack. This keeps the tack in place so that it doesn't fall out and end up on the floor and eventually into your foot. And it also helps to make the seal a little bit more positive. Do the same thing on the other side. And then on the bottom, where the ear loops used to attach, or close to it, you take the shorter, darker colored, regular length tie tacks, and you insert them preferably outside of this melted attachment area. The fabric is a little bit stronger just to the outside of it. And again, cover it with a piece of Scotch tape to help seal it. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Next, we attach the nose strip to the mask. Do so by
inserting the hole on the nose strip over the tack and placing a tie clip or a butterfly clip over it. Check the butterfly clip to make sure it holds. If it pulls off like so, then it's not in a good position. Just turn it slightly, and then it will find its grab point. As you do this, take note that the back of the nose strip is the one that the vinyl or that the elastic is most closely attached to. I'm going to insert the other side through the hole, attach the tie tack or the butterfly clip, and test it. So that's a good hold. Next, I'm going to make sure that it fits properly. So I'm using my thumb kind of where my nose would be, and I squeeze lightly between the bridge of the nose strip and the mask. And I have a little gap there, and that is exactly what I want. It should look exactly the same as when I fit it over my nose. So that's perfect. And now we attach the neck strap. So for this, I'm going to use the drop loop neck strap, and I simply insert the elastic over the tie tack and put the clip on it, and again test. And I do the same thing on the other side. And again test. Didn't hold, so I turned it and it holds. And there you go.
Okay, now let's try this bad boy on. Now I'm using the configuration of this mask that has the drop-down loop on it. So you can either use that version or just use the straight elastic. But I think this version is easier to use, particularly if you're going to do a lot of mask on and off, or if you have long hair. You know, if you're a guy with short hair, it probably doesn't matter. So, but anyway, the first thing you do to put it on is you take the lower loop and you put it over your head and clear your hair, and there we go. The second thing you do is you take this, just like a clasp, you stick it behind your neck and you snap it together. And it's just a side squeeze thing. So there's a little, there we go, there's a little side squeeze thing that releases the buckle. So anyway, I'm going to put it behind my head, or my neck, and I'm going to snap it, and there it's in place. Now, with one hand you hold the mask over your face. With the other hand, you hold the strap and you put that over your head. And there you go. You can kind of straighten your hair, and it's a very good fit, very tight fit. So what you need to do when you first try it on is make sure that everything is snug and positioned right. I'm going to take off my glasses and make this a little easier to show. So right here, you can see the edge of the mask. This is important. You don't want it to be out of position and crumpled up under the nose strap. So that's the first thing to check. Second thing to check is that the nose strap is making good contact. The mask is pressed down over your nose all the way around. The bottom of the mask is under your chin. You just have good contact everywhere. So anyway, when you have that done, then you need to leak test it. So the most obvious first leak test is just how does it breathe? Do Do you feel any leaks anywhere? And this tends to be the leakiest area on any mask. So I don't feel any blowing or anything, so it feels good so far. Second thing to notice, watch my mask as I breathe. It should move in and out. So that means that I'm generating pressure and vacuum, and so that's indicative of a good seal. If I have a leak, I'll make a leak here. See, it doesn't move. So anyway, that's the most obvious test, but you'll see in medical circles that doctors and nurses do another kind of test. And what they do is they cup their hands over their faces. You'll see when they put on a mask, they do this. And you might wonder why they're doing that. That's what they're doing, they're leak testing. You want to interface your fingers a little bit like so. Make a tight cup. Put it over your mask. Put it over your mask, and inhale and exhale. Mostly exhale quickly. And if you have a leak, you're more likely to feel it because air will be forced through that hole or gap. So when I do this, yeah, the air escapes. Of course, it has to go somewhere, but it doesn't go anywhere in particular. It's not shooting out over my eyes or anything like that. So I've got a good fit, and I feel confident about this. Now, in a medical setting, what they would do is actually put a bag over your head with a clear face on it, and then someone would spray in an aerosol that tastes bitter. And then it would be up to me to determine whether I can taste the bitter flavor. If I do, then it means I have a leak somewhere. But if the mask is sealed properly, it will filter out the bitter aerosol, and I won't taste it. And that would be a fit test pass, which is, again, that's what they do with these things. For whatever reason you need to take off your mask, like, let's say you go to vote and you have to show your ID and they say, oh, could you please pull down your mask? You better vote. Okay? Everyone should vote. So this November 3rd, when you go to vote, this is all you have to do. It's very simple and it's very quick. Just pull it off. Just pull that off. It hangs, and then you can put it right back on, very easily. Now let's say though that you want to you want to go for 10 minutes or something with your mask off. Well, you don't want it stuck here under your neck. That's not really comfortable or convenient. So that's where this drop down loop comes in handy. So you simply reach back and you undo that clasp, and then the mask hangs at your chest, kind of like a pair of reading glasses, and it's very quick and easy to put back, and so it's not as fast as Earloops, but the question is, how safe do you want to be? Earloop masks are just no good. So, okay, first, how to prepare a mask. Masks come in two varieties. One has an external nose strap made out of aluminum, and it's just stuck to the mask. The other has an internal nose wire, and so to take off the external strap, all you have to do is peel it, like so. To remove the wire from a mask with an internal wire system, what you do is you find the end of the wire, you very carefully nick the outer layer of the mask and you snip. Then straighten the nose wire and just push the end of the wire through the hole and pull it out. After you pull the nose wire from the mask, take a piece of Scotch tape and place it over the hole. That will seal the hole. Next, remove the straps. Okay, so here is another configurational option, and I've just left the strap on here. You could untie it, you could snip it off, but anyway, this is a KN95 with the Earloops left on it and with the nose wire system that comes with the kit. I don't recommend this configuration, but I know some of you will want to try it, so let's see what this looks like. Okay, so the nose gives a pretty good seal. All right, but I'm feeling when I leak test this, I'm feeling little jets of air occasionally. It is just not as good a seal. The nose is pretty good. So here's the thing: when you're wearing the mask with Earloops, but with this nose wire, it's going to be a little bit budgy still. When you open your mouth, it will still drag down the mask, but it won't be as bad, I suppose, as if you just go with the nose wire that comes in the mask. But here's the other thing: you notice the angle of these straps. When you have the headbands on, the angle is like so. There's tension between here and here. So with the ear loops, you don't have tension between there and there, and that makes it very easy to have a leak right there, depending. So, like, right now, air's coming out here. I can actually hear it in my ears. And a little bit of air is coming out here. I didn't even pull that out. So, I don't recommend this. I know some of you will want to do this. For some strange reason, people are in love with ear loops. I don't understand why. But if you do it, it's still an improvement over what the mask originally came with. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, now let's try the goggle configuration of the mask. With the goggle configuration, we have the foam rubber on top that is going to fit under the nose piece of the goggle, and it's going to hold the mask down over my face and make a good seal. To fit the goggles, we're going to use this piece. Use the same measurements. Put the strap over. No space. So this mask goes on the same way as any other mask. First this around the neck, then this over the head. And here we go. Just wearing this thing like so. I'm blowing air over my eyes, so you know it's not really holding anything. It's because it doesn't have a wire inside. So now I'm going to put on the goggles and let's see what happens. Now, you cannot do this without having a bad hair day. So, you know, that's just a given. But I've got a really good seal over my mask, and I can test it the same way. And that's tight. So I've got a good fit under here. The mask is making good contact with the foam rubber. The foam rubber is pushing down the mask over my nose. I've got the mask under my chin, tight against my cheeks. You know, everything is good. So this is an excellent configuration if you really need the best in protection. And of course, if you really want to be obsessive, you can do the double mask, which that's going to give you approximately close to 100% filtration efficiency after rounding. And you wear that in combination with the goggles. Hopefully you're kind of bulletproof at that point. Now I'm going to show you how to make a double mask. A double or compound KN95 mask will give you not a nominal 95% protection, but actually a nominal 100% protection. So if you need the greatest of protection, this is what you do. First, we're going to prepare a mask. And now we're going to combine them. I'm going to make an inner mask and an outer mask. It will fit inside each other. First, I fold over these seams using hot glue. Use very little hot glue. Use the low temperature setting if you have it. Spread the glue. You just need a low tack. A little bit more. Done. Now, this mask is going to fit inside this mask, like so. First, check the fit. If it looks good, then put some glue here. Now we're going to glue only the melt seam edge, this little dotted line here. Put some hot glue here on the nose and secure that in place. Any excess glue that comes out, just roll it off of your fingers. And then we're going to secure the bottom. Put a little bit of extra glue right there.
There we go. Now we're going to glue the sides together. I've made myself a little tool for that. It's just a guide that I can use to guide the tip of the heat gun. So I'm going to first glue this side, and then I'm going to glue that side. Roll any excess off of your fingers and off of the mask. Now we'll go to the other side. And there you go. There is a KN100 mask. And when you put the hardware on this, you want to use the extra long tacks to attach the nose piece.
Well, thank you for watching my video about the COVEX modified KN95 mask system. I hope you have found the video informative and clear. I hope also that you will tell your friends and colleagues about my mask system, and please, if you have any suggestions, feel free to contact me. I am a person, and I always strive to improve my masks as I go. So reach out to me if you need to. But anyway, for now, thank you very much, and you have a great and safe day.